Welcome to A Poor Millionaire with your host Curtis and
my name's Katie Day.
And today we're talking about the coronavirus and how it's going to affect the world and how it might affect you. What do you think, Katie? Is it a pandemic or an epidemic?
What's the difference between a pandemic and an epidemic?
Well, an epidemic is a localized viral epidemic or outbreak. A pandemic is a viral outbreak that happens all around the world. So I think the definition of pandemic fits what we're experiencing right now, where it's an outbreak all over the world. What is coronavirus, Katie?
Coronavirus is a respiratory illness defined by difficulty breathing, a fever, and gastrointestinal distress.
That does not sound pleasant. COVID-19. Why do they call it COVID-19?
The coronavirus that they are discussing this year, where the outbreak has come out, was discovered at the very end of 2019. So that's where the 19 comes from. And the COVID is a shortened version of the word coronavirus.
Wow. 19, even though we're in 2020. So it came out very, very, very end of 2019. So this is the 2019, which also means, we probably could have the 20, the 2022, the 2030. Anyway, where'd all this start?
It started in Wuhan, China. They think that it originated from a local meat market there, but they're not quite sure. They haven't exactly pinpointed it. The first cases were in early December. They didn't quite know what it was at first. It was people coming to the hospital with a strange form of pneumonia. And then by the end of the month, that's when they gave it the name COVID-19 or the coronavirus.
And obviously it has exploded since then. What countries so far are affected by the coronavirus?
It's reaching pandemic level, like you said. So far, it's affected mainland China, South Korea, a cruise ship called the Diamond Princess, basically a little floating country, Italy, Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong, Iran, the United States, Thailand, and Taiwan. Currently, there are cases with.
And today, they just announced that 6 people. We went from 1 person yesterday to 2 this morning, and then 4 more. So now we're at 6 people have died as of, this is March 2nd that you're watching this. 6 people in the United States have died. Obviously, more people are along the way. Part of the reason I think 6 people died so quickly was I think 4 or 5 of those were in a retirement home. So obviously the older you are and the sicker you are, the more likely a virus is going to dramatically affect your health and could push you over the edge of dying.
Old people do seem to have more comorbidities than the general population just because they've lived longer to acquire them.
How's this spread, Katie?
That's the really scary part about this virus. It spreads through several means. First off, you can get it through aerosols, so that means it's contaminated air. When somebody coughs or sneezes with the virus, they spread droplets out, and if somebody comes in contact with those while they're floating around in the air, they can get it that way. You can also get it through hand-to-hand contact with an infected person, but also back to those aerosols, wherever those droplets land, and they come into contact with, that surface is also contaminated. And what's particularly scary about this virus is that it can live outside the body for up to 9 days that they've proven so far. So
9 days, that's crazy.
That's a lot longer than most other viruses that we come in contact or seen before in the past.
And that's probably one of the reasons why this is so contagious.
Yes, very much so.
What do you think the government's doing about this?
The government in China, they're going on lockdown. They're in quarantine. They're putting together all sorts of stuff to keep people in their house to lower the risk of being contaminated by something outside. There's no cure currently for it, and there's no vaccine, but they are working on a vaccine right now here in the United States.
It seems like a lot of countries are working on vaccines. I heard they're trying to use some new methods in creating the vaccines. Could you tell us a little more about that?
Yes. So typically when they engineer a vaccine, they take a sample of the virus that they are known to infect people. They inactivate it or so kill the virus, and then they put it into an injectable to where your immune system has an actual version of the virus that's been inactive that it absorbs and then learns to create antibodies against that particular virus. And what's really strange about this vaccine that they're trying to create right now for corona is instead of using an inactivated form of the virus in the vaccine, they're going and taking messenger RNA, which is basically a version of DNA that they've created based off of the transcript that China has released for this virus. And then they're trying to directly inject that into people to trigger your immune system to create antibodies for the virus. So instead of getting a culture and having to grow the virus, they're creating a messenger RNA directly inserted into a person to where your immune system generates the response without ever coming into contact with the virus at all.
Well, just like any other new idea, it's like this could go really, really well, or it could go horribly wrong.
That's the scary part. We don't know what the side effects are of just directly injecting messenger RNA. Obviously, this vaccine can be developed within 16 weeks, which is super fast compared to every other vaccine that they've ever made. But it'll be in the testing phases for probably a year or so before it could be released to the general public.
Just in time for coronavirus 2021.
Well, what they're saying about that too is with the messenger RNA, with a slightly different variation of that virus, they can go and alter the vaccine just by removing some code and putting a new code to where they can update the vaccine a lot faster than they have in the past. Just yet again, we don't know what the side effects of doing that are, which is the alarming part to me.
Well, hopefully all that works out. But obviously, multiple countries are working on this. And obviously, I think most of the scientists, any viral scientist in the world right now, this is probably their number one priority.
Oh, definitely.
It's number one priority of most governments right now.
So
what do you think? Yeah, what do you think the effects on the economy is going to be, Katie?
I think it's going to be a pretty big halt on commercial trade, on e-commerce, on everything. If we are all locked out at home for quarantine, what are they going to?
I think e-commerce is actually go up, even though it's kind of silly because even with e-commerce, you still have a driver delivering your package. And 9 days, obviously, you're not going to leave it on your front porch for 9 days. So. But I think e-commerce will actually go up. But obviously there's a lot of industries that are going to be affected by this. Obviously, restaurant industry. The second this thing kicks off, restaurant. Obviously, who's going to want to go out and eat when the person cooking, the person delivering, the person that meets you at the door, all these people have the possibility of being infected with coronavirus. So obviously, it's going to be extremely difficult to keep a restaurant open and successful right now. There's a lot of businesses that are going to get affected. Obviously, who's going to want to go to the bar when you're surrounded by hundreds of people? The travel business I think is going to be affected, and the convention business. We were going to do a convention at the end of this year, and it's already been canceled. There's talking about we have another convention coming up for another design company that we do, and they're talking about that convention's going to be canceled. That's 30 days from now, and I think there was a medical convention that you were going to go to.
SAWC for wound care.
Right, and we're not sure if that could get canceled. So I mean, who wants to travel from all over the country and be in a room with a whole bunch of other people who just traveled all over the country on an airplane, touching stuff that other people have touched?
I know they don't wipe down an entire plane before you get on and off of it either. No. Maybe we should start caviciding everything.
It's amazing. It's amazing when you think about all the surfaces that you touch, that other people touch, and the likelihood that you could get infected so easily, and how fortunate we are that we go through our normal day and we don't get infected. And now, obviously, it's a scary thought that now going in public, I go tan, and going into the tanning booth, I'm thinking about all the surfaces I have to touch. The front door when you open the front door, the door to the tanning room, the key button pad, the tile that's there, the door to the tanning booth. There's so many things that you don't even think about until something like this happens, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, I'm touching all these surfaces, and all these other people already touched them. And you try not to be. I don't like.
It'll turn anybody into a germaphobe.
Exactly. And I'm, a lot of us are, we're a hair's breadth away from being Howard Hughes and becoming a major germaphobe. And I think this is going to push. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be. But I think the economy. That's the thing is like, do you want to go to the gym now? Do you want to get on the weight bench after 5 other people who've been on the weight bench? Do you want to go to a tanning salon now? And these businesses are going to be affected because obviously you might want to cancel your gym membership. You might want to cancel your tanning membership. You might not want to go out to eat next week. And even if you still go out to eat, it's going to be half as much as you used to. And a lot of these restaurants are just not going to be able to survive. And then obviously the situation with China, where China is getting basically shut down and they're in quarantine. And most of the products that we're buying, all the fancy electronics, probably these microphones that we're speaking on, were all made in China.
Which brings me back to what if they're contaminated and we don't even know? If you're saying that it can be delivered to my front door, if I stay home and I quarantine myself, then any package or anything that I receive could have come in contact with the coronavirus, especially as it gets more and more widespread. And how do we handle that and deal with that in the future?
Yeah, it's a scary thought that a guy working at Amazon packaging, just the guy who packages it, never mind the guy who delivers it, guy or girl, puts the package in, has coronavirus. It comes to your front door. You spray the outside of the box because you're trying to be all, careful and safe. You open up the box, you pull the item out, and you've got coronavirus.
Yep, all of that is a lot to think about too, especially going through a global pandemic like this. Who do you think will profit off of the coronavirus? Who do you think will make out of this better off than what they started?
Not a lot of people are going to be profiting, but obviously there is a lot of opportunity. There's always opportunity to make a lot of money.
The face mask industry.
Yes. If you're a company that makes face mask right now, and especially if you're a company in the United States, that company there's just doing loads and loads and loads of business. They're probably hiring people as fast as they can get them in there to make more face masks. Now, I've heard some medical people say that face masks don't help you, but obviously, if you're wearing face masks, you're wearing gloves, and you're wearing glasses, I think the likelihood that you're going to touch your face because you touched something else is going to be very low. Plus, also, it's going to be a reminder not to touch your face because everybody forgets. Everybody's just sitting there going, "Oh, I don't feel so good." And boom, you just touched a surface and then you touched your face. But if you have a face mask on, then you're going to be less likely to touch your mouth, touch your eyes, glasses, and gloves. And then that way, when you walk outside, you come home, you take off your gloves, you take off your mask, you throw all that stuff away, just like you're in a surgical room. So obviously, there is a need for a mask. It's just, obviously, there are certain people who need them a lot more, like doctors and actual medical places. They're having a serious issues on getting those masks, which obviously, like you just mentioned, who's going to make money off this? All the people supplying hand sanitizer is sold out everywhere. I went to 4 or 5 different Walmarts just to get different stuff, and not a single Walmart had hand sanitizers. Who do you think is going to get hit the hardest? I mean, how's this going to affect normal people?
I think restaurant employees first. I think when people stop going out to eat, your bartenders and servers aren't going to be making the money that they need to pay their bills. And if the restaurants have to close down, those people usually don't have a whole lot saved to begin with. And I feel like that's really going to impact them the hardest, the first, and then your event planners, and it'll just trickle on up from there. Yeah,
I think this is dramatically going to affect the economy and dramatically going to affect people working in a lot of variety of industries. Obviously, we know a lot of people work in the restaurant business, in the bar industry, and all these people are going to lose their jobs. I mean, because even if the business has a downturn, if they lay off half the employees, that means half. That's a lot of people.
All of my friends are going to lose their jobs.
Exactly. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs because it's just a major downturn. And a lot of bars are just barely making it. Any business that's just barely making it right now, this is going to dramatically affect it. Even a business that has workers that come in and it's a normal business, with the downturn in the economy, with less money available, with less people wanting to go out and do things, that means there's less movement in the economy. Less movement in the economy, that means people are going to lose their jobs. That means that we're going to have a major recession, depression, and we've had such a good run.
Oh man, we've hit a high actually. We went the longest period of time without an economic recession that we ever have in our history.
Yeah, it was a good run, but I think that this is
the golden days.
Right, the golden days. I think this is going to affect. In fact, actually, I predict, and this is just my personal opinion. Obviously, don't make your financial decisions based upon anyone's personal opinion. What you need to do is do your own research and check the facts and make the best decision for you, not for. You got everybody's decisions differently, but my personal opinion is the stock market's going to crash even worse than it has already. I feel like we are in a major recession, but this is just my opinion. Everybody has their own opinion. What do you think, Katie?
I just remember, what goes down goes right back up.
That's
so
true.
If you're in it for the long haul, then you're probably going to be okay. If you're a short-term day trader, I would maybe consider other employment opportunities at the current moment.
I don't know. I think day traders are going to make a lot of money.
If you're watching that screen all day and you're committed.
Right. If you're committed, you can make money in any market. But I feel like, you've got the two sides of this. You've got the long-term investor. Obviously, long-term things always come back, and we always catch back up. So obviously,
maybe buy more while it's low.
Right. That's what they say is
invest
buy more.
In FedEx and transportation, probably a good idea.
There's lots of investment opportunities, obviously, but be aware that we look like all signs indicate that we are headed for a major recession and a major market correction. And this coronavirus is an excellent excuse. And that's the thing, is like people in the finance business and finance world, they look for excuses because they don't want a president. Let's say take President Trump, whether you hate him or don't or like him. This is a good opportunity for him to have a major downturn without him being the cause of it, because he can say it wasn't me, it was the coronavirus. And it's the same thing with a company. If you have to lay off 5,000 employees, this is the time to do it, because you can blame it on the coronavirus. And if you want to get rid of the head of Disney, which they just did, this is an excellent time to do it, because the stock's already down, so it's not going to affect the stock price. So any decision where you have to do a major drawback in the economy, this is the time to do it. This is the time to change. And the market needs this. The market needs correction. The market needs the time to reset and reevaluate and get everything back on track. So sometimes a recession's a good thing, but this looks like it's going to be, because we haven't had one for so long, I think it's going to be a little bit bigger than it was before. That's just my personal opinion. We could rebound right away, and they could start pumping the money back in. And and actually, that would be the best thing in the world. I would love nothing more than this.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, that somebody comes up with a cure for coronavirus, and all this goes away, and we can have a great summer, and everybody's successful and rich, and we can all get back to work.
We're basically dealing with a weaponized form of SARS.
Yes.
So it's very scary.
Yes, it's a very scary situation. So guys, I really appreciate you tuning in. We need to announce the winner of today. So we're going to go ahead.
Woohoo! Drum roll!
Yeah, we're going to announce the winner. And the winner is... All right. That person, contact us by email. Email only. We will give you instructions on how you can get your gift card. Do not contact us any other way, because obviously I pay you through the email. And if you contact me some other way, I can't have a conversation with you because I don't know who you really are. And if I contact through the email, then I can verify who you are. Then I can make sure the right person gets the gift card. When you contact me through other things, I don't know who you are and I can't verify who you are. And I don't want to send the wrong person the money. I've had several people contact me under the same name and try to commit fraud, and it gets very confusing. It's also hard for me to keep track of because I'm talking to one guy and I think he's the right guy, and then I'm talking to somebody else. So just contact me through email. I will give you instructions. It's super easy, and it makes sure that I am sending the gift card to the right individual.
How's that about making economic success, making money off watching a YouTube video that informs you on our deadly pandemic sweeping the nation?
We're gonna do more YouTube videos this week on coronavirus, and also we have a future YouTube video we want to do. We're planning on doing it today, but obviously coronavirus is getting crazy. We want to do disruptive technologies video on solar panels, solar yachts, and obviously Tesla, the big one.
Self-driving cars, very cool.
And obviously we're going to do a podcast as soon as we get everything lined up and working, and all the wires and the sound's good and the picture quality's good. Everything's working really well. We're going to get that rolling too. So we got a lot of fun stuff coming up this week. Obviously, add us on Instagram and TikTok and press the like button. Leave a comment down below if you want to be in the next raffle, and we will see you in the next video.
And thank you so much for watching A Poor Millionaire and our first podcast together, basically, or video.
Well, it's almost a podcast. Thank you.